Thank you each and everyone for joining us again. So, yes, my name is Soumya and I have a pleasure of hosting this very special live Q&A session for our PMP program director, Kevin Davis, who will walk you through this mock question challenge. Right. So we have planned this special live Q&A session to be engaging and fun session. So keep sending your comments and suggestions and especially any questions that you have. And we will keep them for sure. We'll answer them for sure at the end of the session. Right. And to let you know about Kevin Davis, he has 20 years of experience of on-ground project management and with over 12 years, and he has successfully trained 5,000 plus students and students in 200 plus batches, right? And he has trained employees of some of the biggest companies in the world, including Coca-Cola, JP Morgan, Honda, TNT, Comcast, Turner Broadcasting, as well as various arms of the military recording. And before we deep dive into our webinar, we have a quick poll for you to answer. So let me launch you the poll. So please participate in the poll question. So this is just a basic question. Yes, here you go. You can answer your work experience and where are you from? And there's another question called, did you attend a PMP certification training? And yes, have you previously attempted the real PMP certification exam? So these are the questions. And please take a moment to answer the following poll questions. Great. All right, we are getting responses. Good to see that. Okay, many of them says, they have not attempted the real PMP certification exam, Kevin.
I see.
Yes. And okay. 10 more seconds, guys. All right. So I'm sharing the results for you, Kevin. Here you go. Okay. Yes, in spite of people knowing about the importance, do you know that there is a real gap between the number of people who get trained for PMP certification are greater than the ones who actually attend the exam and pass. So isn't it interesting? So okay, this is the another poll which you can take, and I'm launching the poll for you now. This is. Here you go. So what do you think is a primary reason why people who receive PMP training don't take the PMP exam? So is it because of lack of time to prepare, cost of the exam, difficulty level of the exam, and others? So if you are aware of any other reasons, please specify in the chat box. Okay. Okay, so Kevin, I think you're able to see the responses. 41% of them are saying lack of time to prepare, and 14% of them are telling cost of the exam. 36% are telling like difficulty level of the exam, and okay, so okay, so here you go, Kevin. The stage is for you.
Can we remove the poll, or do I have to do that? I got it.
You want me to share the poll again?
No.
Okay.
All right, so we just talked about some of the challenges, and I saw some of you say that the difficulty level of the exam. I think I can only make that assumption if I've taken the exam. If you're going by what you heard, I'd like to know that. How do you know it's difficult? You throw it in the chat box. The ones that said the difficulty level, how do you know that it's difficult? You've taken it before, or you're just going by hearsay? Say. Another hearsay. Okay.
Many of them
I
are,
figured it was hearsay.
yes.
I figured it was hearsay. What makes it difficult, just to address the issue real quick, is that it's a lot of information. It's not difficult information to comprehend. The 21 exam, that's the one I took. I took mine back in 2015. Now that was difficult because they had a lot of a critical path method in there, a lot of earned value management, a lot of mathematics in there. But it was from a PMI versed standpoint, and a lot of precedence diagramming method in there. Unless you had a really good instructor that could explain it to you, you're going to have problems. They've taken 98% of that out now, right? So now it's all control and principle based, and it's much easier. I've not had anyone fail the exam yet. No one, not the new one. The old one, I had 2 or 3 people. So it's not that difficult. It's just a lot of information, and you have to really sculpt your time out. So again, just piggybacking on some of your challenges that I know that you'll have is where to start. There's no clear-cut plan. In some instances, there's a lack of material or too much material, and you don't know what to do with it, right? The knowledge of what material to study and what to leave alone and what not to study. A clear-cut understanding of the exam, PMI's exam content outline. That's a document that you can actually go out on PMI.org and get and download for free. It's called the PMI ECO, Exam Content Outline. No knowledge of how to apply the learned material, right? Having an excellent mock exam with detailed explanations, knowing when you are ready. And the biggest one I get is assistance with the PMP application, which should be the least of your worries, to be honest with you, because filling out the application is fairly easy, right? But we have a process where we walk through it. So I understand these are some of the PMP challenges, and the lack of time to study, that's the biggest one, right? Next slide. Oh. As we already know, some of you probably already know, getting you certified, 4-year degree with 36 months of leading projects. And if you got any questions, just go ahead and 35 hours of project management training or education. I saw that some of you already have that. If you just have a high school diploma, you need 60 hours of leading projects, same 35 hours of project management training. Next slide. The exam itself, and this is just updating you, it's really based around, on the right side, you'll see what they call the PMI or PMP Talent Triangle, right? Where it lists the power skills, which is really leadership skills. Now, leadership skills from a directive standpoint or from a servant leader standpoint, right? So understanding the skill set and when to use which type of leadership skill, right? And it's really directed around leading people, because we as project managers, we work in a value-driven delivery system, right? And we don't get that value driven, meaning leading teams to deliver value to whatever organization you work with. We lead our teams to do that. And having that skill set, that understanding of emotional intelligence and how to deal with people and different types of people and different people's personalities. So you'll be tested around that. Well, as you can see, the power skills, meaning the people skills or leadership skills, is 42% of the exam. The exam itself is 180 questions. So the people or leadership skills is 42% of 180 questions, which is roughly 75 questions, right? So 75 questions are going to be around leadership skills. And then we have, back over to the right side, ways of working, which matches up. That's the technical part of it, the technical part of the talent triangle. It matches up with the process domain, right? So on the left side, we got 3 domains: the people domain, the process domain, and the business environment. Well, the process domain, or ways of working, that's 50% of your exam, right? This is the PM, or project management technical skills, right? Not leadership skills, but technical skills. Technically, how we get things done from a project management standpoint, right? And then we have our business on the talent triangle, the right side. We have our business acumen, which matches up with what we call the business environment domain. It only represents 8% of the 180 questions on the exam, which is roughly 14 questions, right? So it's a smaller domain, but it only has 14 questions. In addition to that, the exam is split up into what we call, you guys probably heard, for predictive / waterfall / traditional project management, the adaptive framework, which includes a lot of Scrum and Agile, right? Those processes are not difficult at all to understand. And then the hybrid approaches. The hybrid approaches are a combination of predictive and adaptive, meaning traditional project management and Agile or Scrum, right? So those skill sets, those concepts, those principles are developed around those 3 frameworks, as well as those 3 domains, right? The people, process, and business domain. Next slide, please. And when it comes to the exam, the actual exam, and KnowledgeHut has mock exams built just like that, just like the actual exam. What you're gonna, when you sit for the exam, you're gonna be sitting in project manager, and you're gonna get these situational questions that put you in different environments, whether it's predictive, adaptive, or hybrid environment, whether it's a process-oriented question, or whether it's a people-oriented question, or leadership-oriented question, or it could be a business-oriented question, or a combination of the 3, right? Questions that follow process, like I just said, situational questions that has a ton of extraneous information, things like, and again, while you're on the exam, you're only going to get about 1 minute and 20 seconds per question. As you're reading those situations, you got to be thinking and deducing, whether you're in adaptive framework, traditional framework, or hybrid. Again, whether they're talking about processes, people, or business. Say, for instance, with the extraneous, I like to use the term interpretation, right? Not just going to come out and ask you or state to you that you're working a project that is behind schedule. They'll say something like, you're working a project that did have 0 float. Now you have a -2 float. Well, anytime you start talking about float, we know we're talking about schedule. In other words, instead of them stating you're behind schedule, they'll frame it another way. And you have to understand those principles and concepts and start interpreting that situational information and develop that question that they're asking you. So again, if they're talking about schedule, they're telling you you're behind schedule by stating in that situational question, you're working on a project that has 0 float. Now your project has a -2 float. Well, once you understand those principles and concepts, you know that once you have a negative float, you're behind schedule. So then again, they're not going to come out and say you're behind schedule. They'll put it to you in a different way that you got to interpret it, right? So that leads to the concept of, you have to understand what they're asking you through the terminology that they're presenting you that information. They could have made up terms as part of their answers. So you have answers A, B, C, and D. Some of those terms are made up. So unless you've done your repetitive studying and understand the concepts and principles, those made up terms won't make sense to you. Well, these are the type of things that you should be learning in class and you should be developing and understanding terms. Now, you will get some questions that just ask you flat out, what does this mean? multiple choice and hotspots. You get some kind of little grid where you pick the right answer, right? So these are the types of questions you get, but the majority of them will be situational questions. Sitting in the seat of a project manager, and they're going to be bouncing you all over the place within that project framework, asking you different questions and solve them. And in terms of solving them, they're always going to ask you one of three things. What did the project manager do? What should the project manager have done? Or what should the project manager do next? You know, they're always looking, they want you to choose the best answer according to PMI principles and concepts, right? So understanding their value set, meaning PMI, goes a long way. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. We've developed, at KnowledgeHut, we developed what we call test themes, right? This is just a small sample of them. We've got about 25 or 30 of them. These are little concepts and principles that you remember while taking the exam. One, I'm going to read, not going to read every one of them here, but like the project manager should always evaluate first before taking action. What I mean by that is when you see things like they put you in a situation and you see one of those answers down there that says evaluate or review, that anything that pertains to taking a look at something first. In other words, you got to understand the problem before you even start going into action trying to solve it. So the concept is always evaluate first. Now, the term evaluate can come in different terms. Like I said, review is a good one, right? Solve problems now. Don't kick the can down the road. We solve problems now. Don't wait. That's a theme to remember on the exam. They put you in a situation where they'll say something like, well, you can take care of that later. Well, we know that's not the answer, right? We solve problems now. Maintaining a servant leader attitude, meaning in terms of a servant leader, giving our teams and providing our teams the right tools and put them in the right situation to succeed, constantly motivating, being innovative, and coaching our team members, right? So if there's a conflict involved, your job is to evaluate what the problem is and don't focus on the person, then coach those team members. The project manager puts the interest of the project ahead of his or her own self-interest. So, and the last one is choose the best answer that matches what we call PMI-ism, right? So again, we have about 30 themes that we've created on our document that if you start understanding them, it'll help you choose the best answer. And that's all we're after, you know, choose the best PMI-oriented answer. Next slide. So let's go through a few questions that came straight out of our, let's have some fun with it. I have a hard stop at 1, so and there's a few things we want to get through. We're just going to have fun with it, kind of think through each scenario and choose what we think is the best PMI answer. I saw some of you have already gone through training, so some of this stuff should pop up to you, right? All right, so next slide. Our first set of mock exam questions are going to be around people or the leadership skill set, right? Next slide, turn over. Next slide. Okay. Question 1. I think, Sandra, this is polled. Am I correct? Question 1, you are managing a large, diversified project team. In the initial days of the project, the team members behaved like independent individuals and seemed reserved, learning about their roles and responsibilities. Then, as the project team began to work on the project and participate in the technical decisions, their trust levels grew. According to you, us, the project manager, which stage of team development is the team in? Are these polled, Sandra?
Yeah, so we have the poll on. People can answer it on the poll window.
Okay.
Please make use of the poll window to submit your answers.
Just a key, what I'll do, I'll point out little key things that may help you answer the question. Then remember, they started the project, right? You manage a project on a diversified team. In the initial days of the project, team members behave like individuals. Then as the team began to work on the project and participate in technical decisions, their trust level grew, right? So according to us, what stage of team development, if you've never heard of this, it's called Tuckman's ladder. Okay.
Kevin, we have answers in the chat window. Most of them are saying answer is option B, norming.
Okay. Okay. We can move to the answer. And this is one that if you know the Tuckman's ladder, then you get it correctly, right?
Can we move to the next question?
Yes. Okay, question number 2. You are managing a large construction project. Well, your project team works in 2 different buildings across the city. You want to communicate the vision and inspire the project team to achieve high performance. Now they're talking about us now. Which of the following skills help the project manager? A, leadership. Which of the following skills help the project? A, leadership. B, political awareness. C, feedback. Or D, emotional intelligence. Well, what do they want us to do here? They want us to communicate the vision and inspire the project team to achieve high performance. That's the key phrase. And which one of these skill sets help us do that?
We have few of them saying A, some of them saying it's D.
The best PMI answer, that's what we're looking for, right?
Okay, somebody says it is A and D.
Again, the situation is working on a project, working on a construction project, working in 2 different buildings. That doesn't mean much. What means something is you want to communicate the vision and inspire the project team to achieve high performance. Okay, let's look at the answer. Leadership. Leadership is the right answer because it involves inspiring. Remember, we talked about that a second ago, and motivating, coaching, mentoring, inspiring, being innovative, right, to achieve high performance. Project manager with strong leadership skills can communicate the vision, right? Again, most of you guys probably hadn't been through course content yet, but good job though, because a lot of you chose A. Okay, next question. Question number 3, in the people or leadership domain. As a project manager, you know the importance of risk management. You always try to include risk management as an agenda item in your status meetings. Some of your project team members complain that discussing risk management issues in status meetings is a waste of time because none of the risks identified on the project so far have actually occurred. Under the leadership domain, because it told us, right, on the people domain, what should you do in this situation? Meaning you, the project manager. A, talk to your team members about the importance of risk management. B, agree with your team members and let them know that no more time will be spent on discussing risk in the project status meetings unless required in the future. C, call a meeting with your project sponsor and project management team to discuss potential training requirements. Or D, escalate to your senior management. I got stuff in the chat box anyway, so I can't read all of it. Oh, another theme for the exam, for the purpose of the exam, a high percentage of the time, we don't escalate. Our job is to solve problems. As a leadership, in a leadership position, our job is we solve problems. We don't call meetings with sponsors. I'm just putting that out there because it showed up. We don't escalate to senior management for the purpose of the exam, right? We handle all problems unless it's way outside of our purview, right? And again, this is on our, what we call our KnowledgeHut theme document. It's 25 or 30 of them. I didn't read them all. Okay.
Yeah, so the most of them are saying A, majority of them, and the second option selected is B.
Okay.
So let's look
That's-
at the answer now.
And A, talk to your team members about the importance of risk management. Again, we're coaching and mentoring, right? Okay. They may disagree, and the same thing on the adaptive side, meaning Agile Scrum. You may get a situation on the exam where the product owner doesn't understand or don't want to update the product backlog. Well, our job as servant leaders is to do coaching and mentoring, right? So it told us in the beginning, we're working with the people domain, which is the leadership domain. Now we're moving forward. Next question. We're moving to another domain now.
Yeah,
This is the process domain, right?
which is
Which is our
50% of your PMP exam.
yes, and it's the hardest domain, by the way. It's
Yeah,
the most difficult domain. It's not hard, it's just more difficult because it's the technical part of project management. So question number 1. Internal restructuring by the customer has resulted in the replacement of some key stakeholders. What should the project manager do first? So we know some key stakeholders are gone. That's a problem for us, right? Because of restructuring, key stakeholders have disappeared. So what should we do? Distribute a summary of the project's current status to the new stakeholders. Something popped up here. Review something. I can't.
great. We have the poll running, so please take advantage of the poll.
B,
Submit
review.
your answers.
B, review and execute the communication management plan. C, hold another kickoff meeting with the new stakeholders. Establish the project baseline. Or D, review and update the stakeholder engagement plan. Which one makes more sense? We lost some key stakeholders due to restructuring. So what's the first thing we should do? Distribute a summary of the project's content, review and execute the communication plan, hold another kickoff meeting, or review and update the stakeholder management plan. What's the first thing we should do when we lose some key stakeholders? So that's what I'm read the question carefully, understand what they're asking you. See, a high percentage is saying D. So let's take a look. D, it is D. We lost key stakeholders, so first thing we should do is update the stakeholder engagement, review and update the stakeholder engagement plan, right? So the new stakeholders can be identified and they become part of the communications management plan, okay? Question number 2, in the process domain, your team member wants to make technical changes to an activity, which will add more time to that activity. What should you do? So what's the problem here? The team member wants to make technical changes to an activity, which will add more time to the activity. So it's going to affect something, right? We think. What should you do? Ignore the change in activities. Check if the change is on the critical path. C, allow the team member to change the activity. Or report to senior management. D. Remember what we talked about? We always want to evaluate some first, because there's always going to be a word down there that's talking about evaluating or reviewing, right? So as project managers, we always want to look out for that. When it's asking us what we want to do, what we should do first, we don't jump into action. We evaluate, review, right? That's a theme. Ooh, high percentage said B. All right, Sandra, let's see if they are correct. Yep, it is B. We're checking something, reviewing something, right? Again, keep that in mind for the purpose of the exam, right? Again, like I said, we pass out this theme document to all of our learners, right? And we make that part of the study plan. It's 25 or 30 themes, and my suggestion is always for that 30 days, 35 days that you're studying for the exam, study that theme document for 5 minutes a day. That is not a lot of time. And therefore, when you get to the exam, you'll know things like this, right? First thing we should want to do is not jump into action. We're checking, we're reviewing, we're evaluating first, right? All right, question number 3 in the process domain. You are a project manager in another construction project. What should you do to ensure that the successful delivery of the project? A, establish a management reserve to handle the unknown risk. B, meet with stakeholders, communicate the schedule, budget, and cost impact in the event of a project delay. C, conduct a team building activity. Or D, identify the project's risk and necessary success criteria. Okay. So you're the project manager. What should you do to ensure the successful delivery of a project? Okay. Great majority said D. Let's see. Identifying project risk and necessary success criteria. In other words, that's especially in traditional, right? Acceptance criteria is key. Okay. Let's move on to the next, the business environment. First question. Adam has just taken over we got all these construction projects going on here. Adam has just taken over a construction project. Adam planning an information security project for a company that resides in different countries. What is the first step that Adam should take to gather customer requirements? Co-locate the stakeholders to conduct project planning meetings and enhance, perform scope review workshop. This thing keeps popping up on me here. Perform scope review workshop with relevant stakeholders, conduct a stakeholder analysis to identify how regional policies may influence needs, request relevant stakeholders to conduct analysis and reach consensus independently. So what's the first step that Adam should take to gather customer requirements? Okay, let's take a look. Georgia said C. A and B seem like they're tied up. Okay, let's take a look. C, conduct. A would be a little bit expensive, co-locating everybody to the same, because they're in different countries, right? So we'll kind of kick things to the curb a little bit, because that would be expensive, co-locating people. So conduct stakeholder analysis and identify how regional policies may, because it's a construction project, right? Conducting stakeholder analysis is the first step to gather customer requirements. This will help identify stakeholders and their needs, as well as any regional policies that may influence the project, right? So first step you should do. All right, let's go to question number 2. Question number 2, in the business domain. Your team members told you they are overloaded with many tasks. They're saying they have many tasks assigned to them besides the main task in the project. You promised them that you would clear the overloaded task. You are a project manager in a project-oriented organization. Strong, just those of you guys, it's going to be, unless you took the class, you probably you got to guess this one. And right now, A is leading the way. I'm not saying it's A, I'm just saying A was leading the way. B seems to be lagging behind here. Okay, let's take a look. This one is probably a good guess. You'd have to actually have read this stuff in class. Yeah, so we won't argue with this one. Answer is B, a strong matrix environment. Strong matrix environment, the project manager has more authority. So I guess it's looking at, we told them that we reduced their, from a resource optimization standpoint, we reduced that load. So that does mean we have total control. But again, you have to take the class to get that one. Next, and the last question. In the business domain, well, a project manager is asked to contribute to a document to describe what is intended to be achieved with the project once it is successfully finished, and how this will be measured. What could be the name of that document? A change management plan, a project management plan, a benefits management plan, or a statement of work. So you're asked to contribute to a document. Contribute to a document now. And that tells you to build one. Contribute to the document to describe what is intended to be achieved with the project once it has successfully finished. This is key. Once it is successfully finished, and then how it'll be measured. Okay. Okay, thoroughly read that question. You asked to contribute to a document. That is key. To describe what is intended to be achieved once it is finished. Once it has finished, and then how things will be measured to track that, right? Okay, what does the majority of the polls say? Project managers, we would think that, right? The project management plan, but there's some key information up there and how it will be measured. Okay, let's take a look and see what the answer is. A benefits management plan that does exist. It's actually in the new PMP content. The business management plan describes the intended benefits. I teach the stuff, so I do know that does exist. The benefits of the project and how they will be measured. Those were the key components. Those are the key. That's the key phrase. Okay, and you're contributing. Right? Okay, what's next? I think that's it. Okay, just going to give you a quick tour of this very quick, our learning management system. We call it PRISM, right? And it includes when you sign up for our class, especially live instructor-led sessions. We have comprehensive self-paced videos. I think I'm about to, Sonia, can you log in, or can you give me turn it?
Yeah, I'll give you the host access.
Okay. Lab exercises, assessments, problem solving sessions. That will be live because I just had one yesterday with a team of 13 individuals. and you have your progress reports within Prism. In other words, with all of the mock exams, it tracks your progress as well. Okay, so let's go in and take a look.
Yeah, Kevin, so you're the host now, you can share the screen.
Okay. Okay, what's on your screen, Sonia? You got to keep me updated because I don't have a client running for those ones.
Yeah, I see your Prism screen. We're on the workshop panel.
Yeah, no, it's defaulting to that because I was running a class off of this client. I have to change logins. Okay, here we go. Hey, what are you seeing now?
I see your learner's screen.
Should be seeing the Prism, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. So we have a complete, within our study plan, we have a complete, in addition to the instructor-led classes, we have a complete, newly purchased actually a few months ago. We have a complete online course, and I'll just start up one of the videos. It's a video-based course.
Well, it's 2021 as we record this brand new PMP preparation course. I'm Chris Ward, and thank you for joining us here at IT Pro TV.
Can that be heard, Sonia? Sandra?
Yes, we were able to hear it clear, yeah. Okay. So we can actually open the PMP mock test paper and see how we have five set of papers for them to practice.
Okay. So that was a set of, well, I want to go back here real quick, make sure they see the entire suite. Because it matches right up with the PMI course content, right? We have our intro and framework. We have intro to Agile. It covers everything that you need to know for all the videos for Agile. As you can see, PM terminology, everything under the people domain. All the course content under the people domain. All the course content under the process domain and so forth. Okay. Okay, we'll bounce over now to okay, these are our mock test papers. These are not timed, right? These are for practice. That's why they're called. Is this what's coming up on the screen, Sandra?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we have 8 of them. Right. Let me open one up real quick.
Yeah, so we have 8 mock test practice papers and then 5 simulation exams which are timed.
I think it's 8 of those too, if I'm not mistaken. We'll go in there in a second and see. Yeah. So you can start. It's 180 questions, no time limit, so it's not timed. You start your quiz just to test, test your knowledge. Okay. And then I'm going to open up the exam, the actual simulators. And under our study plan, we suggest that there's 8 of them. Yeah, there's 8 exam simulators. On our study plan, we suggest you take at least 2 of these before you take the actual exam. Okay. And as you can see, these are timed simulators. So that gets you used to sitting in front of the, at your desktop, as you would in real world. You have to really mentally be ready to sit there for 4 hours and concentrate. That's why we suggest you take at least 2 of these on week 3 of your study plan and then in week 4 of your study plan, so that you can mentally be ready to concentrate for that and used to be concentrating for that amount of period of time. Okay. So that's the online learning center or learning course.
Yeah. So we'll go back to the slides then, Kevin.
Okay. If I can find them.
We can take questions. We have a couple of questions in the Q&A window. Let's go to the questions now. Kevin, I can read the question for you. What is the difference between PMP certification and a college certification in project management?
I've never taken that. And if they're talking about, I know people take an entire semester of project management. I'm not sure if there's an actual PMP exam prep. Well, you can actually take the exam. I don't know that.
The next question is from Vijay Anand. He says, budget and costing topics are getting harder.
You're asking that? No, they're simpler. They used to be hard pre-2021. They were brutal pre-2021 exam because it dealt with a lot of earned value management and the thing about it, those exams back then anyway, if you start missing 1 or 2 questions around earned value management, it was designed to give you more questions in earned value management. So now they've taken most of the situational questions out where you actually have to memorize, I think it was maybe 13 or 14 formulas in earned value management. And which we used to have to actually, we call them brain dumps. We used to write those down right before the test start so that we won't forget the actual, but you don't have to do that anymore. What I get from learners now, and again, I have had anyone fail the new exam. Now, when I taught the old exam for like 5 or 6 years, I probably had about 5 or 6 people flunk the exam out of, a few hundred, because they weren't good in math. They didn't get it. Now, those same 5 people, they come back and taken the new exam and passed it. So I asked them what was the big difference. And those earned value management formulas, they took that part out. So it's not getting harder. It's gotten a lot easier.
The next question is from Jessica. What kind of work counts towards the experience hours needed for the application? What kind of work counts towards the experience hours needed for the application?
It tells you, well, we kind of went over that in the beginning. You need you have a college degree, you need 36 hours of leading projects. And it doesn't mean end to end. You work in different segments of the project, either on initiating or planning, or executing, monitoring, controlling, or closing. But normally what I find is people always think they're talking about working with a company, earning money, running projects from end to end. I've seen people that have done projects around their house and included that in the application. I've seen people have done projects, and I've told them this too, at their churches, little projects or social organizations. They've run projects with those and enter those in. PMI does not distinguish between the type of project, right? Whether it's work related, organizational related, or home projects, home improvement projects.
The next question is, this is not for fresher students. Can they apply?
It's not for
Freshers.
what's a fresh are you talking about
So
freshmen?
freshers are the one without any work experience?
No, it's not for them. No.
Okay.
I don't even know how you can get past that with no work experience, because they're gonna, you're gonna have to put down something. But the answer to that is no.
Okay, we have an interesting question here. These videos are from Feb 2021. Do they hold good even now?
Yes, the new exam was created in 2021. So were these. I just showed every topic. That's why I was spreading out those topics. Those topics matched PMP's PMP exam content, right? The new exam was created in 2021, right? So the videos match the course content up to date.
All right, so we have next question from Gaurav. How much time we should have between training and scheduling an exam?
You mean studying?
Yeah, between
So if it's studying, once you finish the 35-hour exam course, I would really dive right into it because it's still fresh on your mind. I would say between 50 and 60 hours, right? So whatever time you squeeze that in, and I'm talking about studying every day. Because once you skip something, I noticed for a fact, because I did it back in 2015. Once you start skipping days, it's almost like you have to start over again, right? And you get behind again. So I would say between, and even PMI recommends that, 50 to 60, but that's just sort of a standard number, because everybody comprehends differently, everybody learns differently, right? Some people have full households, so they don't get to concentrate as much. Some people go to the library, so they get to concentrate a lot at the library, and they only need a couple of hours because that concentration isn't broken because of stuff that's going on around the house. So you have to sculpt your time around your lifestyle.
We have a next question here. If we just do simulator test available here, can we clear the PMP exam? What's the pass percentage from your end?
Without studying, so I need to clear that up. You're going to have to study. You're not getting out of that. You're going to have to study, right? You're going to put some time in studying, right? And then you take the simulator test. The simulator test is to test your knowledge of everything that you've studied. And it's just like the exam is going to put you in different scenarios, right? Which is what the exam is going to do to you. So you need to get used to that, but you need to understand the principles, concepts, and processes from the course. So you're going to have to put some study time in, not just take the class and then do some simulators, right? I know I hear a lot of organizations out there stating that, oh, well, if you just do my simulator, you can pass the exam in a week. It's up to you to take that chance, but I would not.
The next question is from Richa. Is the PMP exam intuitive? Like if I answer for a question wrong, can next question be around the same?
It was for me, but that was in 2015. That's what I was talking about with earned value management. And I haven't heard that. I need to ask users that. I haven't had anybody fail, so I never had to ask that question. So I'll have a class now. If there's some kind of message board, Sandra, that we can get back and put this question in parking lot and provide an answer. I have a few users that just informed me they passed the exam last week. I can ask them. But I would think not as much, because again, I haven't had anyone fail this new exam, the post 2021 exam.
How much?
Okay, so we have a next question from Gopi. So I'll read it out for you. Project manager has limited role. Any scope of cross-functional? Question mark. Since market is transforming towards AI, generative, and expectations are high of any role. Example is tech companies.
I don't understand that question. Can you verbalize whoever that person is, Gopi?
Yes, Gopi, can you reframe the question and type the question again so Kevin could understand it better? Yeah.
But can they speak? Because this has to be my last one. I have a hard stop because I had to get back to class. But I want to understand this question first before. Project manager has limited role.
Yeah, Gopi, you can unmute and speak.
Yeah, unmute.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, how you doing?
Thanks for the opportunity. Being a risk manager in that organization, I mean, I have been in project also. Like there are expectations are high from the business point of view. Like technology is transforming, right? Like automation and artificial intelligence, they are inculcating. I mean, companies are going to, looking towards that AI, technology pattern. So, the key role of the project manager still remains same down the line, like after 10 years or 15 years. I just want to understand, are there any, phases do we need to improve if I want to be, I want to sustain project manager for long lasting. That point of view. Maybe it's a confusion.
Yeah, I'm getting a serious echo.
Oh, sorry.
Right there, now it's a little clearer.
Okay. Just a moment. Maybe let me talk to, yeah. I just put a headset. Is it clear now?
Yeah, it is much better.
Yes.
Sorry for the inconvenience call. So,
No worries.
my question is, like project manager role is a limited role, or does it have vast, multiple, cross-functional, or
Oh yeah. Yes.
because if
With
project is completed, for example, again, project manager always seeking for new project or trying to get that project, giving the resources and okay, we have this much capability and we want, we are capable enough and we need a project, like from vendor point of view. So, that is a general question I can say.
Now, if you're stating that if you're in an environment where the project manager's role is limited, meaning you don't have any power, is that what you're trying to reframe or trying to relate?
Yeah, like yeah, it's it's my thought, but I'm expecting an answer from you that how much scope of performance project manager.
How much scope comes from the project manager?
Yes. Because product manager is different and project manager is different. Product manager always gives the requirement and get it done the project, and project manager,
well, we as project, I understand, I get it now. We as project managers, we're leading our team to develop scope, right? So
yes.
you're talking about project managers versus product managers, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yes, correct.
All right, so as project managers, we're leading our teams to develop scope so that we can build whatever it is we're building or developing for the product manager.
Okay.
Hope gets close
Kevin,
to it.
just one, two last questions we see on the window. How much scope of project manager role in the market from the growth point of view? So scope of project manager's role in the market from the growth point of view.
It's in PMI has it. I don't know if you took the class or not, but PMI has a video that's built into the course called the Project Economy, and they have the prediction of growth in there, and it's pretty extensive. But I see it. It doesn't matter that I work for KnowledgeHut. I never take my name off the job board ever, and I do that because I like to see what's out there, so that I can tell my learners. I'm in the United States, and more specifically, I'm in Metro Atlanta, so I see a ton out there, right? So I guess we would probably depend on what part of the planet or the world you're in. But for what I can tell, especially from a PMI standpoint, looking at their numbers, it's a high number. I mean, most organizations are built around projects. And by the way, what I'm seeing a lot of, in case you guys, is what they call, we have hybrid environments, but we also have companies that are looking for hybrid project managers with the skill set of traditional projects, meaning PMP, and the adaptive frameworks, meaning Scrum and Agile. Why? They don't want to be paying two people. If you have both skill sets and can manage and run both projects, I'm not saying across the board, but if you have both skill sets and can actually manage, I've managed both types of projects, so I can do that if I needed to. But companies are starting to look for what they call hybrid project managers now. I see that a lot. And Sandra, I really have a hard stop.
Yeah. So one last question. Are there any military discounts for PMP bootcamps or exams? Any military discounts for PMP bootcamps and exams?
Oh, that's a sales. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, for KnowledgeHut, that's sales. I'm pretty sure there
okay.
is, but that's a sales question.
Okay. We'll send the response to that. I think yes, Kevin, we are good.
Okay.
So we can wrap up the session today.
I'll see a question in there about. I had a couple of people in my last class that I took ill on, and they were asking about that. I'm much. Well, you can tell I'm much better now.
Yes.
I'm much better now. And thanks for asking, by the way. Okay. Okay. On my behalf, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you got something out of it. And if you still have further questions, Sandra has a place. You can post them, and we'll get back to you. But I have to get back to class right now. But really enjoyed it, and look forward to the next one. And if you haven't been to class yet, hope to see you in class.
Yes, thank you, Kevin. And guys, your feedback is very essential for improving and making our work better. And you'll be directed to a feedback form once the session ends. Request you all to give us your valuable feedbacks. Right, and thank you again, Kevin, and thank you everyone for joining the session. And looking forward for the next session. Please visit our KnowledgeHut website and get registered for the next sessions as well.
See you guys.
Thank you.